Jai Shri Radhe. Continuing with our readings of the biographies of the 252 Vaishnava disciples of Sri Gosaiji. Today is day 219. There was a break of one day yesterday, so day 219 and Varta 220. The Kshatriya from Gujarati. They partook of prasad and then began their divine discourse. They did this every day, and the second Vaishnava's mind became fixed on the Lord. They spent day and night discussing the Lord and his pastimes, and the second Vaishnava lost awareness of his body. On the other hand, Chachaji reached his destination in Gujarat, collected all the donations from there, and was returning when he reached the Kshatriya Vaishnava's village and came to his house. There he saw the two Kshatriya Vaishnavas sitting together and discussing the Lord's pastimes. He also observed Sri Govardhanaji himself standing behind them, looking tired and sadly bothered. The Kshatriya Vaishnava was talking about the Lord's private pastimes in the forest boughs. That was when Chachaji came there. He stood and listened to the discussion. He realized that the other Kshatriya Vaishnavas were not was not qualified to listen to such subject matters, and that this Vaishnava should not have raised the matter with him. Chacha Harivamsa called out to the Kshatriya Vaishnava, but he was completely absorbed in the discussion and did not answer, nor did he even see Chachaji. Chachaji took hold of the Kshatriya Vaishnava's hand and gave it a pull. The Vaishnava then saw Chachaji standing in front of him. Chachaji asked him, "Hey, have you completely lost your awareness of what you're doing?" The Kshatriya Vaishnava turned round and saw that Sri Govardhanaji was standing behind him looking displeased. Chachaji said, "What have you done? You have not properly guarded your faith. Just look today at what you are doing." The Kshatriya Vaishnava realized his mistake and became silent. The other Vaishnava asked him to continue his narrations, but the Kshatriya Vaishnava replied, "Please be patient. I shall pause a little before going on." The other Vaishnava again requested, "Please tell me now," and afterwards again, "Please finish the narrations." Thus he repeated his request 3 times. The Kshatriya Vaishnava then looked carefully into his own mind and heart and realized that he should not say anything more. He addressed the Vaishnava, "Did you believe what I told you? I am a man addicted to intoxication. You should not believe a word I say. I came here because I got separated from Chachaji on my way here." In this way he avoided further narration. Chacha Harivamsa set off from there the very next day. Then he said to the Kshatriya Vaishnava, "What were you doing there? You were recounting the Lord's private pastimes in the forest boughs to that Vaishnava who was not qualified to hear such things. That is why Sri Govardhanaji was standing behind you so sad and bothered. You did not even think or realize the situation. He was not qualified to be listening to such tales, and you should always consider these things before you start speaking. Well, whatever happened has happened. It was all the wish of the Lord. I have now instructed you, and you have now understood. Otherwise, Sri Govardhanaji would have become very angry." The Kshatriya Vaishnava piped up, "Yes, I have made a big mistake. From today onwards, I shall never reveal such matters before anyone who is not qualified to listen to them." Chachaji said, "That Vaishnava's mind is very attached to worldly matters. If Vaishnavas are attached to worldly wranglings or take refuge in anyone other than our Lord, you should think twice before talking to them about such matters. Never speak about such things without first giving due consideration to this." Bhav Prakash, the moral of this story is that Vaishnavas must think first before talking about the Lord's private pastimes. Why? Because those leelas are the Lord's own form. Those who are not eligible to hear and properly understand such matters can actually cause a bad reaction in the speaker himself. The speaker's divine loving sentiment can become tainted. This causes a lot of botheration for Sri Govardhanaji. Thus concludes Varta 220, the story of the Kshatriya Vaishnava who received Sri Gosaiji's great grace and was an accomplished Vaishnava, and there is no end to his tale. Continuing now with Varta 221, the story of one Kshatriya lady from Agra who could not pronounce the 8-syllable mantra. Bhav Prakash. This is a devotee of Tamasi disposition. In the eternal Leela, her name is Vaduti, who manifests from Rasabhadra and is thus a personification of her divine loving sentiment. She was born into a Kshatriya family in Agra and was extremely innocent. Her parents got her married off, but her husband died not long afterward. Some days after this, Sri Gosaiji came to Agra, and the wives and daughters of some Vaishnavas told her that if she became Sri Gosaiji's disciple by taking the name initiated from him, then she would be uplifted. Part 1. Once Sri Gosaiji came to Agra, the Kshatrani came to him for initiation with the Lord's name. She came there and sat down. Sri Gosaiji accepted her into his fold and spoke the mantra to her, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. she was able to pronounce these words. Sri Gosaiji asked her, "Can you say my name?" She said that she could, and he told her to say his name instead. She did this constantly. She knew nothing else, and Sri Gosaiji was very pleased with her. Sri Govardhanaji himself began to grant her his direct sight. Bhav Prakash, this tale demonstrates the grace-filled divine power of Sri Gosaiji. Thus concludes Varta 221. The story of the Kshatriyani who was the recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and an accomplished Vaishnava. There is no end to her tale. So Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Radhe. For 1 or 2 days, there might be an omission. Please know that we will continue with the Vartas when travelling is completed. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. आज के आनंद की जय हो. जय श्री राधे.